Bob Arum came out and stated that Devin Haney is not even a top 10 lightweight. So he is not a challenge for Vasyl Lomachenko. He also stated that Devin Haney is still wet behind his ears. And he continued on bashing Devin Haney by claiming that Devin Haney and Eddie Hearn just want the big name, but they don't have the experience to compete with a Lomachenko, which we're going to talk about. Because Bob even went as far as claiming that he wanted to make Terence Crawford the next French fries champion at welterweight. How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Pieces and blessings upon all my Akhis and all my sisters out there. Welcome to Akhi TV. If you want to be part of the family, then go ahead and subscribe below. If you're trying to get smarter by the minute, if you're trying to get dumb about a second, don't. And listen to these decaf/O media. And of course, if you are a casual fan and you want to be a hardcore boxing fan, all you have to do is click on the notification bell to get notified every time we post or go live on Split Decision every Sunday. And hopefully one day you will graduate from the Akhi University and become a hardcore. That being said, let's go ahead and dive in straight to what Bob Arum had to say. Now, first things first, Devin Haney is a top 10 lightweight, and I challenge anybody that will disagree. Matter of fact, he's even a top 5. And you cannot name me 10 fighters that top Devin Haney at lightweight. And we know he's a top 5 because he obviously holds a strap that belongs to Lomachenko. So you best believe, if Devin Haney was a Corolla, Lomachenko would have been for him. So that statement is completely false by Bob Arum. Of course, Bob Arum is the promoter. That's what he's supposed to say. However, facts say otherwise. And to get things in perspective, of course, Bob Arum opened up the interview with Fight Hub by claiming that being a French fries champion is not a bad thing. He claimed that it's justifiable if it's a Canelo or Lomachenko. Now, of course, he gave the political answer, but the real answer is because they both fighters on the hope list, and their mandatories was fighters on the coincidental list, and that's a Charlo and Devin Haney. So that being said, as far as Terence Crawford being the next French fries champion, Bud already made it clear and let it be known that he does not want the French fries belt, and he's not interested. He wants a belt that he could hold, that he could defend. If you can't defend the belt, then what's the purpose of the belt? If you can't fight me for it and beat me for it. So that being said, Terence Crawford and Deontay Wilder are on the same page. They both basically shitted on the WBC French fries belt. And the WBC themselves claim that it's not a championship, it's not a belt, it's basically a trophy that you can hold for the rest of your life. However, the downside to that is that this trophy comes with a price. You're not just going to be able to request this trophy to avoid a fighter from the coincidental list without having to pay extra bread. As we know, for the regular WBC title, you pay 2% for your sectioning fees. For the French fries title that you will never defend and is not a championship and is not a belt, you have to pay up to 10%. So does that ring a bell? Why you have to go through all of that instead of just fighting your mandatory? If it's such an easy fight, then make a showcase out of him. Like Devin Haney told Lomachenko, if I'm green, then fight me like all of the rest green fighters you fought. Like the Corollas of the world, the Mariagas, and make a showcase out of Devin Haney if that's the case. But we all know what time it is. We all know what the real answers are. So that being said, Bob Arum could make up excuses all he wants. However, he cannot justify Lomachenko action because he talked about the Gervonta Tank Davis fight. And he stated that Floyd Mayweather is not going to put Gervonta Tank Davis in there with Lomachenko till he's ready, till the time is right, because Floyd Mayweather is a fighter unlike Eddie Hearn. But how ironic is it that Lomachenko is bashing Gervonta Tank Davis in the media, claiming that he's a prize fighter, not a pride fighter, claiming that they bunch of businessmen, according to Lomachenko himself. However, when Devin Haney get brought up, Then all of a sudden, Lomachenko goes from being a pride fighter to a prize fighter. He put his business hat on and wants to question the rankings when a minute ago on the same interview, he's talking about that's not his job to rank fighters on the pound for pound list. But he want to question the rankings for the WBC when Devin Haney is his mandatory. It's laughable because you didn't question Corolla being your mandatory when he wasn't supposed to be there, when he didn't belong there. However, you want to question the man that earned to be a mandatory. But like I said, Lomachenko, every time Devin Haney is brought up, he turned to a businessman. The same thing he criticized Gervonta Tank Davis for. And if that's not a contradiction, then I don't know what is. So that being said, like I told y'all time and time again, Bob Arum, if Devin Haney is such a green fighter with 24 fights, on the other hand, Tio Lopez only has 14 fights and he's about to face Lomachenko. Now, of course, Tio knocked out Comey, and that's a proven champion. However, on the other hand, that's what Devin Haney was trying to do, is fight a proven champion like Lomachenko when he was his mandatory. But Lomachenko said absolutely not and went a different route. We all know why, but Lomachenko didn't do a thing when he fought Salido. His accomplishments was a feather at the pros at the time. And of course, he lost that, and he got another title shot right away against Gary Russell. And we all know, coming off a loss, you cannot fight for the WBO strap. But, of course, Bob Arum has mob ties with the WBO, and that's why PBC doesn't recognize the WBO as a belt anymore because of their ties with Bob Arum and the corruption that is going on with the WBO. But I find it funny that when Lomachenko is getting criticized for ducking or avoiding or cherry picking, whatever you want to call it, if you want to be politically correct, when Lomachenko is getting criticized for doing something wrong or not living up to the expectations, Bob Arum want to throw Terence Crawford in there and claim that, listen, if Terence does this or that and get more straps, then he possibly could get the WBC French fries belt. Even though, like I told y'all earlier, Terence the Bug Crawford already let it be known that he don't want to be the champion of McDonald's and be the French fries champion. He'd rather be the champion of the world and defend his title. So that being said, if the French fries title was sincere, how come they didn't give Crawford that honor when he became undisputed at 140? But they rather wait for Crawford to actually get more than one title at 147 than give him the French fries title? That's absolutely ridiculous, because we all know what time it is. Even Lomachenko, when he won the WBC strap, when it was actually a vacant strap, he was supposed to fight Devin Haney then. However, he fought Luke Campbell instead. And after he won the title, we all know if you win a vacant belt, the WBC has a rule you have to defend it against two of your mandatories. But of course, it don't apply to a fighter on the hope list. Lomachenko got elevated to a French fries champion instead and got stripped of the real title. And the main reason the regular WBC title is the real title, because according to the WBC president, Suleiman, he came out and stated that the WBC French fries title is not a belt, is not a championship, it's simply a trophy. So if the WBC French fries title is legit, how come the only two fighters holding that title is two fighters from the hopeless, and that's Canelo and Lomachenko? How come all these pound for pound caliber fighters came out and turned down this honorable title? How come Benavidez is uninterested in this French fries title and he's from Mexico City? He's Mexican and represent the Mexican culture. How come? How come Inoue turned it down? How come Deontay Wilder said absolutely not? I'd rather have my mandatory weight than knock him out. Because Deontay Wilder is a true champion. So is Crawford. That's why they turned down even the idea of being a French fries champion, let alone requesting it. Because they already champions. So why will they be interested in being a part-time worker at McDonald's? So regardless of how you're trying to justify it, Canelo Alvarez and Lomachenko, they so businessmen-like that they should be working for Wall Street. Because Lomachenko could claim that he a pride fighter, but one thing for sure, his action and his moves show that he's a businessman. However, the better question and the $1 million question is, who is the better businessman? Canelo Alvarez or Lomachenko? Answer that in the comments below. I think Canelo has him beat because, of course, he showed him the way. He showed him how to avoid a fighter on the coincidentalist. And Lomachenko is steady learning because he had a Devin Haney problem. Canelo showed him the way by requesting the WBC French Fries title. He was the first one that did so. So that being said, Lomachenko is following his lead. However, he is still a good businessman as well. I got to give him credit for the way he be finessing the game. So that being said, subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't. And listen to these decabs, aka dumb ass casual fans / old media. And shout out to the GOAT DBN for starting new media. Of course, Dante started all of these terms that we use, from the hopeless to the coincidentalist, and the list goes on and on and on. So shout out to DBN. And last but not least, I have good news for the casual fans. Click on the notification bell if you want to attend the Akhi University for free. If you're tired of being a casual fan and you want to be a hardcore, all you have to do is attend the Akhi University every Sunday on Split Decision to get notified every time we post or go live on Split Decision. And one day, y'all will graduate and become a hardcore boxing fan and learn to respect these fighters that put their life and sweat and tears into this game. So that being said, follow my bro Ski Lunatune for the funniest boxing memes. If a picture says 1,000 words, his picture says 1,000,000 words, to say the least. So follow my man, that's my broski all day. Go ahead and follow him on IG and keep it a G. I will leave his link in the description box below. Y'all could also follow me on Instagram at Akhi TV and cop the Akhi merch. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace, and we out.